Being able to participate in a discussion area and to be able to have a discussion for 7 days, 5 days, a continuous discussion that lasts longer than an hour in a discussion area can be difficult. And one of the ways that I've found to make sure that I keep that discussion rolling is to ask leading questions. A leading question can do so much, and it could be something simple as, what are your thoughts on this? Or bring up a new topic and kind of lead the direction. Maybe sometimes your discussion gets off to an area that you don't want it to be, a direction you don't want. You want to kind of pull that back. So when you ask a leading question, it really gives you more control of where you want to take the discussion question. It allows you to focus on the key points that you need to make sure that you meet. For example, I had a class where we were talking about the death penalty, and we were just looking at basically the real basic area of the death penalty. The cases that have the death penalty, capital murder and what have you, the federal and state obligations. We weren't looking at the pros and cons of it necessarily. Well, the students got on a tangent about religion, and granted, that wasn't an area we needed to go down. And granted, it's important to hear a student's opinion on it, but that's not the point of that discussion. So we kind of tabled that issue, and I said, we're actually going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. Let's table that and save those posts for that, and let's focus more on looking at the simple part of it as far as the requirements for the death penalty. So a leading question allowed me to do that. And you can do that quite simply by, again, at the end of your posting, you respond to the student, give them comments on their question, their discussion, and say, your post leads me to think about this, and it allows me to think about this. What are your thoughts? And you want to maybe focus it in a way, hey class, Sally brings up a good point here. What are your thoughts on this? She brings up the idea that only federal crimes that meet this requirement have the death penalty. Why don't state crimes have this as well? What are your thoughts? It kind of promotes students to want to respond, and it also allows other students to respond to that post to Sally there, meaning some students may be afraid to, if I'm responding to just Sally, they don't want to jump in the conversation. But if you open it up to the entire class and say, hey class, what do you guys think about this? She really brings up a good point. You really encourage other students to participate. So something simple like a leading question will really keep that conversation going and kind of let you have that direction and point it back where it needs to go. So give it a try next time you're in a discussion area. Something simple like, what are your thoughts, or what can be done to correct this? Obviously it depends on your subject matter, but give it a try and you'll be really pleased with the results.